What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fans Sports. My name is Zach. We're back again with some amazing reactions today, and this is a big one because we've got a string of several great streams coming up for the next month covering the one and only Ashes between England and Australia, and I, for one, cannot wait. It's about 2 weeks before the first match takes place as the day of recording, but it should be within a week, maybe just a couple days till the first match, and we will be live for the opening day. And I'm going to try to go live as often as I can. If I'm off of work, I will be live covering the Ashes, having some fun, drinking some beers if I don't have work, and just having some fun with you guys. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, like this video, and let's get ready. But for today, we're going to check out a video of the 7 greatest individual performances from the Ashes. That way I can learn a little something and to build some hype, baby. Let's go.
With the Ashes looming large,
Sporticos,
I wanted to revisit some of the most iconic performances we've seen over the past few decades.
Rewind it.
Rewind the greatest Test match innings ever played.
And it is one of the most fantastic victories ever known.
Look at this.
He has absolutely no idea what has happened to it.
Well, that has turned about 2.5 feet. Gatting can't believe his eyes.
He joins an elite group of Australians who have done that.
That's it, and there's Kevin Pietersen's first Test 100.
And whips it well. Kawaja, the comeback king. Mitch Johnson on fire.
Look at that
a few of my favorite individual performances, and in today's video, we'll have a look at 7 of them in no particular order.
I respect it.
The first performance is one of the greatest individual efforts in Ashes history, and it comes via Sir Ian Botham, a man for the big occasion.
Botham?
The year is 1981, and the venue is Leeds, and it's the 3rd test of the Ashes. England are down 1-0 in the series, and they've just been bowled out for 174 in their first innings, after Australia had put up 401 in their first innings, an innings in which Botham had taken 6 wickets.
Damn.
That's it this time. He's made sure he's taken.
Additionally, Botham easily top scored in England's first innings with a 50, so he'd already had a great game up to this point, but he wasn't finished yet.
So he's carrying right now.
In fact, he was far from it. England was sent back in to follow on, with odds of 1 to 500 of winning the match.
Yeah, because what? They're down a little over 200 right now, like 220, something like that, 217.
And again, their top 6 had capitulated, with no batter reaching 50. The Australians would have had their eyes set on an innings victory, with the last obstacle in their path the figure of Botham walking out to bat. Botham strode out to bat with his side 5 down, into a cauldron of fire. He was up against...
Oh, goodness. So 5 down already. So, like, this is just high-pressure moments. If you want a chance, you got to come out and have the game of your life.
The likes of Dennis Lillee and Terry Alderman with their tails up. Botham would go on to play one of the great innings, built on a foundation of counter-attacking stroke play as he blasted his way to 149 not out of 148 balls.
And he's got the single he wanted. And 145 not out he came. It has been a phenomenal innings.
And it was enough to force Australia to bat again, where they were unceremoniously dismantled by Bob Willis, who deserves an honourable mention for his performance of 8 wickets.
Look at that fro.
43 runs.
Bowl him. It's all over.
Come
Willis,
on.
8 wickets.
Wow.
Fabulous performance.
Botham went on to claim the Player of the Match award after claiming 7 wickets in the match and scoring 200 runs. His innings changed the course of the entire Ashes series in 1981.
And it is one of the most fantastic victories ever known in Test cricket history.
And England went on to win the series 3-1 thereafter.
Wow.
Next performance comes...
What a momentum swing, man. Down and out of luck. Lost the first. I think they said the second must have been a draw or something like that, or could have been canceled because of weather, I guess. They go into the third, down by a lot, and he just swings the momentum to England's side.
One of the greatest players of all time, in my opinion. A man who played the game hard.
I know that
everything he had and entertained.
All right, Shane.
Shane Warne.
All right, Shane.
The 2005 Ashes is remembered as the series England finally won back to earn. But what often gets overlooked is that Warne almost won it single-handedly.
Wow.
That's the real art of leg spinning.
At 35 years of age,
I still understand how good he is, how he's that good.
He was relentless, finishing the series with 40 wickets, 16 more than the next best bowler in the entire series.
Jesus.
Outbowled batters session after session, and every time Australia needed a breakthrough, it was Warne who dragged them back into the contest.
That's the end of that. Shane Warne.
I think I'm ready to do another Shane Warne reaction, guys. If anyone has any, send them to me. Maybe we can find one that's just like him with the Ashes that we can upload like leading into Test 2 or something like that. If y'all have anything, send me a link down below in the comments, or even better, we have a Discord down below in our description. Click that. They have a react recommendations and stuff like that, and just send it there. I'm ready to see some more Shane Warne, man. He's such a beast.
His battle with Kevin Pietersen became a mini-series within a series, pure theatre.
There it is, the battle's over.
And even with the ball of the century tag already attached to him,
Gary has absolutely no idea what has happened to it.
Well, that has turned about 2.5 feet. Gadding can't believe his eyes.
he still produced another magic one to Andrew Strauss.
How about that? Absolutely brilliant from Shane Warne.
Australia had lost the series, but Warne was still the man of the moment and the most dominant individual across both teams, carrying Australia's hopes deeper into the final day than they ever should have survived. Because with Warne, there was always the belief he would win the match.
A ball in. That's the end of
crazy,
that. Shane Warne.
Time away from the top level usually hinders players, but this was not the case when Steve Smith returned from his ban after the Sandpaper Gate scandal.
I don't know if this is a good thing to put in a top 7 moments, because he's part of a ban for something that was ridiculous. You know what I mean? I don't know if I like this being in here. I get they were punished for it and everything like that. I know some England fans are going to have some different comments. I mean, let me know what y'all's thoughts are. I mean, this may be a great moment. We'll watch and see it. But do you feel like it belongs in this 7 greatest individual performances since the rebirth of the story is because he got banned for cheating? You know what I mean? Y'all let me know.
The stage is set at Fortress Edgbaston when Australia are 122 for 8 in their first innings of the 2019 Ashes for Steve Smith to do what he'd done for Australia so often in the past and rescue them. After walking out to receptions of booze and with great speculation over his form, Smith reminded the world of just how good he was in the game's longest format.
Through the covers! His first test back after the ban, and it's normal service resumes.
Scoring 144 to guide Australia to 284.
I can only imagine that being kind of tough too, because I'm sure he's getting a lot of boos and a lot of mixed emotions and stuff like that from and probably a lot of things through social media, a lot of comments and different things like that. I would assume at least.
Smith smashed a second 100 in the match, anchoring Australia's innings with 142, finishing the game with twin hundreds and propelling himself to greater heights than anyone could have imagined.
Driven away, back-to-back hundreds in the same test match. He joins an elite group of Australians who have done that.
As he finished the series with 774 runs in only 7 innings at 110 apiece. It was an emphatic way to announce his return to the international stage, fighting back through a difficult personal period to deliver clutch innings after clutch innings, en route to helping Australia retain the urn.
Only 4 others.
And I'm just thinking England probably would want to do nothing more at that moment than to just get him out on a duck. Just get his ass gone as quickly as possible and just kind of be a ball don't lie kind of situation. Be yeah, gotcha ass. That's what you get, But he came out, mind focus, steered right, ready to go, and just outperformed everybody.
In Ashes tests, redemption is well and truly complete.
Left arm quicks seem to have the ability to bowl both miracle spells of pace and swing and uproot batter stumps, as well as erratic spells of buffet balls where no 2 deliveries seem to land in the same spot. No one embodied this more so than Mitchell Johnson, but on his day, Johnson could rip through the very best batters with pace and swing built on a foundation of aggression and hostility. And in 2013, it was this version of Mitchell Johnson who pulled on the baggy green to play the Ashes.
And the handlebars
the 2013-2014 Ashes was Johnson at his most terrifying. Moustache, snarl, and thunderbolts north of 150 clicks, bowling with a kind of personal vendetta that seemed aimed at every English batter who dared stand in front of him.
I know that hurt.
This wasn't just fast bowling, it was psychological demolition, as he had every batter hopping, fending, backing away, and looking like they'd rather be somewhere else. He finished the series with 37 wickets, but that number doesn't tell the true story, because he'd mentally beaten the English batsmen before they even faced a ball.
That's a scary thing, man, especially in tests. You have the mental aspect of the game won. You have the mental aspect of game one. You have them a little bit nervous to approach those stumps, to approach their crease and face your deliveries. To be in their head like that for long periods of time throughout the day, throughout the whole series, impressive.
Which helped Australia whitewash England 5-0. Moving on to the next performance, I've watched the Hollies erupt in the background with Stokes pumping his arms in celebration at least 30 times, and I'm sure you have too, because you simply cannot talk about Ashes heroes without talking about Ben Stokes at Headingley
motion picture right there, man.
He's put everything into this, Ben Stokes.
So here we go again. England were chasing 359 and looked dead and buried at 286 for 9, and they could feel the Ashes slipping through their hands. And then, Stokes produced one of the greatest fourth innings knocks the sport has ever seen. He began in survival mode and then exploded into calculated violence.
He's done it! Incredible!
Wow.
Well, this guy is a freak.
Reverse sweeping Nathan Lyon into submission and bullying Australia's attack into panic.
And he's got again! Ben Stokes, you beauty!
The partnership with Jack Leach has gone down in history and has been written into folklore. One man scoring the runs, the other holding the torch, and somehow, someway, England got home. Stokes didn't just save a test, he kept the test series alive, and he did it with absolute defiance against an Australian side already popping the champagne.
True and needed to win the test match!
Hey, ain't over to the fat lady sings, that's what they say.
The most clutch Ashes innings of the modern era.
One of, if not the greatest test match innings ever played!
Nah, that right here, this picture here is crazy, man. That's crazy.
Every great Ashes series needs a defining moment where someone refuses to blink, and in 2005, that moment belonged to Kevin Pietersen. Under outrageous pressure, Australia sensing a late twist, wickets falling all around him, and the urn still not safe, a young Kevin Pietersen walked out to bat with a bright yellow mohawk and an equally bold temperament.
But it's all gone a long, long way again.
KP played the innings that finally sealed the deal and shot his career into the stratosphere. He took on Shane Warne and Brett Lee head-on, not with caution, but with authority, punching back when England desperately needed someone to rest the momentum.
Was Kevin Pietersen's first Test 100.
His 158 broke the back of the game and handed England.
I think that's one of my favorite things about sports. Like if I'm being honest, like if I'd have to break down one thing about sports that just keeps me coming back and makes me interested in watching, you know, multiple different sports, even sports I don't really understand. But the one thing that's so common, it's not the athleticism, you know, it's not like these freak of natures that are just, you know, so outwardly athletic, strong, jump high, run fast, all this stuff. But it's how momentum can impact games. You know, momentum is everything. You could be down by however much, you can be up by however much. If you had the momentum, you always feel like there's a chance. Or if you have that one person, we call it the Mamba mentality, you know, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. But you have that different mentality where you always feel like you're in it. Someone that, you know, the rest of your team can fall back on and feel like, oh, this is the guy. Like we know, even though we're down right now, this guy can bring us back. He doesn't flinch. You know, it's those moments that gets me watching sports. And you can see it across all the sports. I've seen it through these different highlights that we've done, through all the different sports, through some of the games that we watch. Even if it's just watched for a couple minutes, you can just kind of feel that. And I think if I were to narrow it down to one thing about sports and why I love it, it's the momentum. And it doesn't always have to come from a player either. Sometimes it can come from the fans, right? It can come from the stadium, the atmosphere that can go ahead and bring that momentum towards, you know, the forefront for their home team. You know, let me know if y'all agree, man. I mean, that's the best thing with sports for me.
It was a statement innings that marked the moment the Ashes officially passed hands for the first time in 18 years.
Finally, the fantastic knock by Kevin Pietersen comes to an end.
What a great innings. Comes to an end.
We've gotten through 6 amazing performances, so I thought I'd share some of my favorite honorable mentions in rapid succession. Ashton Agar's ridiculous 98 on debut at number 11 in 2013.
Set the highest 10th wicket partnership in Test history when Agar pulled
That's pretty cool on a debut.
Turning a collapse into a lead and almost rewriting the record books in his very first Test.
Next, Agar overtook Tino Best for the highest score by number 11 in Test cricket.
Usman Khawaja returning after more than 2 years out and gliding to 141 and 56 not out in Sydney in 2022, batting with the calmness of a man who's never really been gone.
Khawaja, the comeback kid!
Alistair Cook's monumental 235 not out at the Gabba in 2010-11, a statement innings that broke Australia mentally from the opening Test of that series.
I've heard a lot about him, but I don't think I've ever watched anything about him. If anyone has any videos on him specifically, send them our way.
Fastball down the leg side, and Alistair Cook raise your back proudly.
There's also Andrew Flintoff's 7 for 52 at Lords in 2009. A final great spell of hostility and heart that ripped through Australia and reminded everyone what peak Flintoff looked like when he locked in.
Can't leave those alone. And Flintoff is triumphant there. Look at him.
As the Ashes is one of cricket's greatest spectacles and one of the true few modern rivalries remaining, there have been many great moments and individual performances produced. We've gotten through some of them here in this video, but if you felt like we've missed one, share it in the comments, I'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more Ashes content coming soon.
Oh, there's a whole video on the history of the Ashes. All right, I have to do this next. So I don't know when exactly y'all will see this video. It'll probably be within a week or so of the Ashes. I'm definitely going to react to that video as well. That's up on the screen. But as he said, you know, this covered a lot of the modern era of the Ashes and stuff like that. So I know there's been a lot of fantastic moments, incredible moments that I'm sure that was missed here. So if y'all have any moments that y'all remember, it could be in the modern area, it could be prior. It doesn't matter to me. Let me know. Tell me a story. Let me know where you were when you watched it, how you felt, what happened, what was the vibe like, or the emotions and all that like in that country after this happened. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I look forward to seeing y'all during our live stream through the Ashes. Even if you can't stay for long, come pop in, say what up, say hey, let me know who you represent, and we'll talk about it and we'll have some fun. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Cheers. Peace out.